Scottish Government plans on holding a referendum in autumn 2014 on whether or not Scotland should leave the UK. So to find out where that would leave Scotland within the European Union, I'm here today with Nicola Sturgeon. She's the Deputy First Minister of Scotland and she's joining me here today for a coffee. So thank you very much, Nicola Sturgeon, for meeting me here today. So first of all, the big question on everyone's lips is if Scotland does leave the UK, what would happen to then Scottish EU relations? Would Scotland then have to reapply for EU membership, or how would that work?
Now, Scotland's already a member of the European Union, and the weight of legal opinion says that we would continue to be a member of the European Union. There would be no need to reapply. We would not require to go through, defend and promote our own national interests.
So essentially you would be the 29th member then, after Croatia?
Well, we are a member at the moment. If we become independent, I hope we do, the referendum will take place in the autumn of 2014, then we continue to be a member state but in our own right rather than part of the UK member state as we are at the moment.
According to the EU treaties, that's legally proven?
Yeah, I mean, there's no provision in the EU treaties for the expulsion of a member and the legal opinion is clear. I mean, we've got some very weighty legal opinion from former judge of the European Court of Justice, from former senior figures in the European Commission that says that Scotland would be, as we are just now, a member of the European Union. And of course, Scotland is one of the wealthiest, most prosperous parts of Europe, and we've got the potential to be even wealthier and more prosperous with control over our own resources. I think Europe would welcome us with open arms as an independent country, and we look forward to playing our part.
Well, speaking of that, what about the euro currency? Would you ever join that? I mean, the UK obviously has an opt-out. What would happen in the case of Scotland?
Well, we've said that our intention would be to remain within the sterling currency. We have a position of only going into the euro both when the economic conditions are right and when people in Scotland voted for that in a referendum. Now, given the crisis in the Eurozone at the moment, I think it's very unlikely that in the foreseeable future we would take the decision to go into the euro. So until we got to a point where we wanted to take a different decision, our position is to remain within sterling. We think that's right for Scotland. It provides the stability that we need to grow our economy, but it also has real benefits for the other parts of the UK as well.
And what about public opinion over in Scotland? How are people feeling? I mean, I've seen a few polls. According to one on YouGov, it said that 6 in 10 people want to stay with the UK. They don't want to be on their own. They don't want Scottish independence. What sort of feeling have you got?
Well, the most recent polls show public opinion to be neck and neck, and the debate, of course, is only really beginning now in earnest. And at this stage in the debate, the polls are extremely encouraging. Now, if Scotland becomes independent, we'll continue to have a very, very close relationship with England and other parts of the United Kingdom. They are and will be our closest friends and allies. We intend to keep the Queen as head of state. As I've said, we would intend to remain within the sterling currency. So there are many, many ways in which we'll continue to cooperate. But of course, the benefits of independence are that we have political and economic powers of decision making that allow us to promote our own national interests.
And what about national debt, things like that?
Well, we would have to take our share of the UK national debt. There's no intention or attempt to escape our responsibilities. But interestingly, if you look at the economic and fiscal performance of Scotland in the 5 years before the financial crash, in 4 out of 5 of those years, Scotland actually operated a budget surplus. The UK as a whole was in deficit for each and every one of those 5 years. So our fiscal position, our economic position is relatively strong. That gives us a good base to build on. And with fiscal independence, of course, we can ensure that we have the economic policies, the taxation regime that best suits our purposes and gets our economy growing.
So you're talking about having the referendum in autumn 2014. So when would it be likely then that Scotland could one day leave the UK and be independent?
Well, if Scotland votes to be an independent country, as I hope and expect it will in the autumn of 2014, then we will have a period of negotiation with the UK government around the issues that you're talking about, the assets, the liabilities, the arrangements that would continue to exist between our countries. The next scheduled election to the Scottish Parliament is 2016, and we would anticipate that would become the first election for the government of an independent Scotland.
And what sort of backing are you getting in Westminster?
Well, I think Westminster politicians will respect, as they should, the decision of the Scottish people. Now, I respect the view of Westminster MPs or Westminster parties who don't want Scotland to become an independent country. They've got a right to argue that case. I hope they do it positively. I hope they don't decide to run a negative campaign, as we've seen in the past, talking Scotland down, trying to suggest that Scotland's not capable of being an independent country when the reverse is true. But they've got a right to make the case for the Union. And if we have a positive case for independence, a positive case for the Union, then I trust the Scottish people to make the right decision. And I would then expect politicians of whatever party, whatever strand of opinion, whatever colour, to respect that opinion.
Fine, and then just one little thing. I spoke to an expert there recently and he reckoned that within 10 years, within a decade, the UK would have left the European Union. If Scotland was independent, you do not share this view? You would rather have a strong Scotland within the European Union?
Yeah, I'm not sure that's true of the UK either, to be honest. I certainly don't think it's true of Scotland. Scotland gets many advantages from being part of the European Union. We would be a stronger part of the European Union as an independent country, more able to stand up and protect and promote the national interests that are vital to us. I mean, if you take an industry that is crucial to Scotland, the fishing industry, in a UK context, that's not quite as crucial for the UK as a whole. And often we have to struggle to assert our own national interest over fishing. If we were an independent member state, then clearly we would have a greater ability to do that. But Scotland will play its part in Europe for many, many, many years and generations to come. I've got little doubt about that.
OK, thank you very much, Nicola Sturgeon.
Thank you.
Deputy First Minister of Scotland, thanks for meeting the EUobserver here today.